Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight? I'm Greg Graham, AVM superhero here, and I just want to come up with another caregiver story that we have. This is episode 7 from our AVM caregiver stories. This episode is with a male caregiver. He's actually a caregiver for his girlfriend. What's up, cousin? How you doing, bro? So I'm just waiting for Chris Cider to come on, and once he comes on, we can get started with this next caregiver story. And I believe he's on now, so let's get this started. And interview will be live. Chris, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well, sir, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. It's been a long day, but
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, I'm pretty excited to have you on here, and the reason being is that I've been dealing with caregivers, and you're the first male caregiver for um, your girlfriend or your spouse. So this is going to be pretty interesting, the questions I have for you and how you answer them. So I'm really excited about this. I hope you guys are excited about this as well.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
All right, cool. So tell me a little about yourself. February 22nd, or I guess February 21st. How was that day? And then when the 22nd came about, when Kayla had her aneurysm, how things were going down.
Well, I think the 21st was a relatively normal day. I mean, we normally would, try to go out to dinner or whatever, anytime we have the opportunity, especially if we don't have her daughter from time to time. There's 3 days a week, sometimes four, depending on the week, where we don't have the little one around. So we try to take advantage of that and go out and have a drink and have some dinner and spend some time together, that type of thing. So I think the 21st was along those lines. 22nd was actually the night of the incident. So the aneurysm actually occurred pretty much right in front of me. We just didn't know it. So the interesting part about that is I was heading out of town to spend the evening with some friends, playing some poker, and kind of doing my thing.
Yeah,
She was at
okay,
work.
nice, nice.
Yeah, so you got to have some fun from time to time. But in any case, I had visited her on my way out of town at work that night, and we had walked outside, and she was complaining that she had a headache, and um, we're both very prone to migraine, and it was nothing out of the ordinary. Um, I was just about to jump in my car and say goodbye to her though, and she had a spike in her headache, and she actually said the words, I wonder if this is what an aneurysm feels like. Um, and I asked her a couple of times, do you want me to stay? Do we need to do something different? No, no, no. Go do your thing, take off, and she just figured it was another mic, just kind of a heavier version. So she took some medication for it, and I left her alone. I knew she made it home because she had texted me that night.
You drove home?
Yeah, she drove home. Yeah, she
Wow.
was driving my truck, unfortunately. So I mean, in the middle of this, she was having an aneurysm, didn't realize it, but she's driving a half-ton truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, which could have ended badly, definitely for her, but for anyone on the road as well. So, I
right.
mean, a lot of luck went into this night. I'm not necessarily the most religious person, but there was if there was an opportunity to say there was angels watching over someone, that would be the time. So, um, yeah, she made it home, and I knew she had made it home. That was the last I heard of her, though. For that night, and I had been doing some alcohol consumption that night, so I stayed at my friend's house until I was sober enough to make it back home. I needed to kind of rest off my drink. So about 4 in the morning, I headed back home when I was sober, and found her on the floor next to the bed.
Really?
So yeah, yeah. So that was really the beginning of it. I found her on the floor. She was prone. Um, Not a whole lot of space between the bed and the wall. Um, and, she was kind of wedged in between the bed and the wall and had a trash can pulled up next to her, had been vomiting for some time. I had no idea how long she had been like that. Um, but yeah, I got some words out of her. She just said she, wasn't feeling good and kind of slurring her speech a little bit. And I laid next to her on the floor for a few minutes. And, after a while, I just kind of, I had to call 911 and got the process going. So, yeah,
Did you know she had a stroke or aneurysm at that time, or you just thought she was sick?
I had no idea. I really didn't. I mean, aneurysm was not on my mind at that point. I just had no idea what was going on.
Right, right, right. Because her story sounds a little bit like mine. I was driving my truck. I had a three-quarter trunk, and I pulled over, and then thankfully I called 911. But I felt
Yeah.
fine, but it's just I had an excruciating headache. So I can imagine because nobody has ever said this to me before, but you're telling me now about migraines, and Kayla was actually saying that her migraine was mild compared to what's going on when she had this aneurysm rupture. So this is something I want people to understand as well too, how severe this thing is. It's worse than a migraine. It's way worse than a migraine. It's excruciating pain. Some people even say they wakes them out of their sleep. So I'm glad you actually brought that up. Um, I want to talk about your relationship. How were you guys before, and how long were you guys with each other, and how has this event changed your relationship?
We've been together about 2.5 years, so that doesn't seem like a heck of a lot of time. We both come out of lengthy relationships. Not directly so much for me, but she was directly out of a lengthy relationship. The father of her 8-year-old that she just got out of a relationship with when we got together. But um, we've really been soulmates though from the beginning. So I mean, it's kind of I know that sounds cliche and and whatever the word you might come up with, but it's we've had a really strong bond since the beginning.
Right.
Um, if anything, I think this happening has made us probably closer,
Okay.
which seems kind of strange. I mean, especially based on I saw some of the questions that you sent.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of surprised me when I read the question that couples had broken up. I can understand. I mean, it's a ton of pressure uh, from all directions. I mean, the caregiver side, obviously more so from the people that have experienced it. You going through an aneurysm or a stroke or any of those things, head trauma in general. Uh, from the caregiver side, yeah, there's a lot of pressure and stress, but I mean, it's nothing compared to the actual person going through it. So, um, I don't know. I think our bond is probably stronger now than it was.
The reason why I asked it because I was married as well, and my relationship before wasn't that good. So when this happened, things got even worse. So that's why I was asking this question to you, and I really wanted to drill this home to the people that's out there listening that you know you can't wait to tomorrow to say our relationship is going to get better. You have to work on it now, get it strong now. So if something like this happens, you're prepared to actually love this person and not take that person for granted. So that's the reason why I asked that question, because there is statistics out there that says like 80% of people that have brain trauma, they break up with their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend. And especially you as being a man, um, it's, I don't know if it's for you, but normally men are not nurturers. They're not caregivers. So when you're put in that particular predicament, a lot of men run away. And I really commend you that you actually stood by your lady and really helped her out with this. So applause to you. Seriously. Hey, Kayla actually put you in the caregiver basket. So you're going to get a caregiver basket one of these days. It's going to have a lot of nice stuff for you to actually pamper yourself with. She said, you're not a pampering guy, but we're going to get you pampered.
Okay. Well,
No, but seriously, but I really thank you for that, for telling us that, and letting people understand that yes, it is very hard for us as the stroke survivor or the aneurysm or AVM survivors, but as a caregiver, things completely are changed, and you're trying to deal with the person that you love But now they have changed. They have seen something that you have not seen. They have almost seen death, and you don't understand that, and you still try to be that same person for them. How's that working for you?
I think it works differently day to day. Um, Definitely at the beginning, it was much tougher because I was trying to wrap my head around a lot of the things that you're talking about. I mean, that definitely is a drastic change for somebody like Kayla, who was a very independent person. She loved her independence. She loved being able to do things for other people, and she was the nurturer in the relationship. It wasn't me. I don't know.
Right, right,
Um,
right, right.
I think I had some nurturing characteristics, maybe, but I don't think of the two of us, I was the nurturer. So
Right.
I kind of had to take on that role. I've also got a lot of help too, so I mean that helps out a lot because I've got her mom who has basically moved in to help out. Um, her daughter, who's only 8, but she's a lot of help. She's still a lot of help. She
Resilient.
does
Children are
she
resilient.
does try. So, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm doing this on my own whatsoever because I honestly don't know if I could. But um, a ton of changes though.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, Chris, because a lot of caregivers that I come in contact with, especially when they first get into this, they think that they have to do everything on their own. Talk about that. That you needed help, that you needed people to come around you and help you with Kayla. No, speak
Oh,
on that.
sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I am the best person to, how should I put this? I'm terrible at asking for help. Maybe that's the easiest way to say it. I've
Me
always
too.
been
Me
terrible
too.
at asking for help. I think that's probably a lot of men out there probably feel the same way. I mean, it's just show a weakness if we ask for help. So, um, unfortunately, uh, there's just no way around it, especially even if I was taking off completely from work and I had nothing else going. Um, I feel like I would probably have to ask for some help to take some of the pressure off, because it is a
Hmm.
ton of pressure from the caregiver side just to try to maintain from a day-to-day basis. So, um, yeah, I would not be able to do it without the extra help from her mom and the help from the little one. And yeah, I mean there's just little bits and pieces that are taken off my plate over the course of a day that help me kind of stay sane. So, um, but yeah, definitely I realized that pretty early on, and there was lots of offers of help, and I was saying a lot of I don't know how you can help me. I don't know what you can do. Thank you. Thank you for the offer of help. I'm just not sure. But, as things materialized and things got a little more concrete, we kind of figured out a game plan collectively, with between me and her family, as to, what level of help we needed and, what we needed to do going forward. So it's kind of leveled out at this point. There's been a lot of mental and emotional breakdowns, but, um, I think we've kind of figured things out and gotten to a level playing field at this point.
So I wanted you brought up two things. I want to really tap into both of them. But the first thing I wanted to tap into, what type of help do you say that you needed that you didn't know that you needed? Now you know that, yeah, this is a great big help. Because at first you said, I know you want to help me, but what
Oh
can you
yeah,
do?
yeah. It's simple things. I mean, you just don't think about the changes that come into play after this happens. So, um, I mean, when she first got home from the hospital, she couldn't get out of bed by herself. She couldn't go to the restroom by herself. Eating was, and that seems like such a basic thing, but if you haven't experienced what you've experienced or what Kayla's experienced, or from the caregiver side, what we've experienced, um, you just don't realize that it's literally to that level. It's simplistic things that become incredibly difficult
Right.
to manage. So, I mean, little things like making dinner, um, little, that's a huge, huge deal. Little
Yes.
things like taking out the trash, little things like, taking a part of the day to where I can go to work and not have to worry, not have to be concerned that there's not another adult, there's nobody to help her, make those trips to the restroom or, eat her food. Because honestly, when she got back from the hospital, she really didn't have great motor control. So, and I'm sure that's prevalent in head injuries. But definitely for her, that was an issue. So, just those little things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Between me and her mom, we sat down and kind of figured out, okay, this is really where you can help me. This is really where I can help you. And we kind of went from there.
So I'm gonna get a little personal on you. So when this actually happened, and you having all these things that's brand new to you, and you have to figure these things out, what did you do to calm yourself down and alleviate those stress?
Oh, I don't know that I did anything specific to alleviate the stress. I mean, it was, I, I don't want to lean on the cliche again, but I mean, we had the ability, thankfully, with technology, and we're using it right now, same type of technology where we could, see each other face to face when we weren't face to face with me and Kayla. And, if I could talk to her, that's always been the greatest stress relief for, I think, both of us. If we can just talk to each other and be near each other, that reduces a ton of stress for both of us. So I think that goes back to the relationship strength. We just have had that bond ever since we got together. So, um, for me, I've always kind of done well with stress as a general rule anyway. So I kind of allow things I've learned over the course of years to allow things to kind of shed off of me. So not that this hasn't affected me, because it surely has. And like I said, there's been plenty of emotional breakdowns and that type of thing, that have occurred, and especially at the beginning, where I think we were both wondering why it happened, and not really getting any straight answers, because nobody really has that answer
Nobody.
as to why,
It's bad. Yeah, I talked to Kayla a lot. She's probably gonna beat me up about this, but she has told me that
She's
you
okay.
basically saved her life, and your love for her has saved her life, and I can honestly say as another stroke survivor, um, just knowing that someone's in your corner and you can really rely on them helps you out tremendously with your rehab. And if you don't have that, your mind's going crazy, because that's what's going on with her right now. Her mind is scrambled and she's trying to get it back in order. And to know that she can rely on you each and every day, that's God sent, man. Once again, applause to you, bro. You could definitely get this basket. Hopefully you win this basket together.
You're gonna have to make that a big basket, I guess.
With cigars and brandy in it, huh?
I'm joking.
I get
The
it.
thing is, though, I mean, if if the situation were reversed, she would be doing a better job than I'm doing right now.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. Men
it's
suck.
not even. She looks at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but I mean, it's absolutely true. She's no question in my mind, if this had been reversed and it had happened to me, and a lot of times I wish it had, but um, she would have taken much better care of me than I'm taking of her.
But the thing is that we have to also realize that with men and women just looking for security and comfort and knowing that you're there. We are babies. You gotta
Oh
make
yeah.
sure everything is right for us. But for women, they just want that actual comfort, and you're giving her that comfort. She's at ease. That's really cool. I really commend you on that, because not a lot of men can actually stand up to that, and you are standing up, and that's really cool. That shows real love. I really thank you for coming on this show, because you really showing me there's hope for us men yet. Seriously, because there's a lot of men are selfish. Something like this happens to their lady, they're gone. You're
Yeah.
there. You're actually really taking care. And everybody that survives a stroke is my sister. So you're taking care of my sister, and you're really doing your job and doing the best that you can with the abilities, or the tools that you have. And I really commend you for that. Um, let's dive into more of these questions I had for you that I actually gave to you over the internet. Has this made, and you say you're not that much into a faithful thing, but has this made you believe into a faith, or has it made a faith stronger? Does she have a new faith? Does she see life differently as more precious and things like that? It makes you want to see that same thing?
I don't know that it made us had to have faith necessarily. I don't think we were the most religious people. I think I mentioned that a couple of minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when something like this happens, you're grasping at anything that might help. So, I mean, I would pray to whoever or whatever just to get her back, you know, just to help her survive. Because, when that first happened and she's going through a 14-hour surgery, we didn't know.
All right.
We had no idea if she was going to make it. We just knew that it was an extremely large bleed. And it was a bleed that most people wouldn't survive. They were pretty open and honest with us at the hospital, but they saved her life. And during that 14 hours, you're pretty introspective, about what has transpired before that. And like I said, I don't know that it made either one of us find religion necessarily, but definitely we have cherished our time together, I think, a little bit more. Not that we didn't before. I think that's what made the bond strong, because we kind of had that strong bond before this happened, and that is kind of translated into what's happening now. But it's definitely made us look differently at each day, and make sure that we're that's a tough one. Make sure that we're cherishing our time together, I guess, is the best way to put that.
Okay. And I see this getting kind of tough for you. It's cool, man. Take your time. I always had this thought about, when you get married, they say for better, for worse, or sickness and health. But, there's really no counseling about the sickness part. What can you give our audience about that? How your love, it transcends or it surpasses her sickness or any illness that she has, that you still love her for who she is and is more grounded on your connection instead of what's actually her illness that she has right now. How can you keep people together?
What's that?
How can you keep people together through all something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just honestly, it's important to. You don't know when something like this is going to happen. There's no way to predict it. That aneurysm of hers could have burst 10 years from now. It could have been 10 years earlier. Who knows? I mean, there's just no way to tell. So, I mean, it's all about what you're doing in the now, and not taking any day for granted. I mean, it's life's too short, and this is proof positive right there that life is too short to take any day for granted. So, I mean, go do the things that you enjoy together. Spend the time together. Don't spend time being angry and being worried about the little stuff. That's probably the best advice I could say, and build that bond, and because you just don't know when it's going to be gone. It could be gone at any moment.
In the Bible, it says, I know you say you're not that religious, but in the Bible it says, do not go to bed angry.
Sure.
So you would say that's actually a true statement. You should actually practice that each and every day, because you never
absolutely.
know.
Yeah. Not going to say we never fought or had disagreements, but being able to talk to your significant other is pretty important. So keeping that open line of communication, and it's not about, you can never get angry at each other, but you got to keep that consistency in the bond, and keep the communication open and spend time together. I mean, that's, if you don't enjoy spending time together before, it's definitely it doesn't get better after this happens, that's for sure. So
what ailments does she have now that she's actually working on and you're helping her with?
Really, her biggest thing is, I mean, she's got a little memory issues, with short-term memory. Main issue though is left side deficiency. So she's able to walk now. She's got an AFO that helps her to stay mobile.
What
But
is, what is that? What is that? What is that? I don't know
an
what that is.
an AFO. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly what the acronym stands for, but it's just a orthotic that attaches to her left calf. Kind of
Okay.
keeps her ankle straight so it doesn't roll, and that kind of increases her stability when she's walking.
Okay.
Um, really helps her, I think, almost more mentally than physically now. I mean, when she first got it, I think it was more of a physical issue with her walking and her rolling her ankle and things of that nature when she was going, you know, going upright. But now I think it's more of a just kind of a safety blanket. But I think she's capable of walking without it, because I've watched her do it. But she feels safer, with that AFO on. So um, definitely a benefit. But that entire left side it's kind of gone crazy because her head, as you mentioned earlier, is kind of scrambled. So it's trying to fire directions to that left side, and it's just not happening. So it takes her a lot of effort and a lot of mental capacity to try to even get her left arm moving or open her hand or move the leg. She's got to put thought into it, where that's second nature to anyone that hasn't had a head injury or head trauma. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you with all this stuff is, and I'm not sure if you had this before, but you have to have a lot of patience with us. How does this test your patience? How does this make you be patient?
I got to say, I'm not the most patient guy as a general rule, but this has definitely, to your point, made me more patient. I think it's probably done that with all of us, but um, very tough when she first got home. I mean, she was up every hour, even overnight. I mean, it was midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and we'd be popping up because she just didn't know. Simple thing again, she just didn't know if she had to go to the bathroom, so she was afraid. We need to go to the bathroom. And lots of times we'd wake up and head to the restroom, and we nothing would occur at that point. But um, that right there definitely was a patience tester. Um, but I think when you love somebody to the level that I love her, that patience can grow pretty quickly. I think. I mean, but I can also see how that would break pretty easily if you don't. So
Man,
yeah.
you're making me smile a lot, man. You're almost about to make me cry, man. This is
Oh yeah.
no,
Well,
no. I really like this because what you're telling me right here is all this stuff that every stroke survivor wants. Like I had 3 caregivers, and my ex-wife wasn't prepared for this. Now I went to my sister's house. She wasn't prepared for this. My mom was prepared for it because obviously I'm her baby, and she also did physical therapy, so she understood how to take care of me. But a lot of us don't have that.
yeah.
And this happened to her, what, this year, correct?
Yeah, it was this last February. Yep.
So you're brand new to this, and you had to do a lot of this stuff on your own because of COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, fortunately, I had a little bit of a crash course simply because I took a month off when it first happened. So, I mean, I'm typically between 60 or 70 hours a week at my job. So, uh, to take a month off I've never taken a month off since I started working. I've never taken a month off. I will take a 7-day stretch, maybe 8, but taking a month off is tremendous. Um, but I essentially lived in the hospital, so that's kind of what I mean with the crash course. I got to be a part of all the physical therapy. I got to be a part of all the occupational therapies, all the speech therapies. I almost became kind of a surrogate nurse. I'm not going to disparage the the nursing profession by saying I was anywhere close to a nurse, but I got to see a lot of the things they did and started doing some of the simpler tasks that they did for her, while she was in the hospital as well. So plus I got to be with her. So, I'd be there at night if she needed me, and, during the day I'd be there. So, she always had somebody to talk to. She always had, the hand to hold and all that.
So can you describe to me, because I'm glad you actually said about that crash course, but can you describe to me, and also for people that are becoming caregivers for a stroke survivor or aneurysm survivor, AVM survivor, um, the difference between being at that hospital with your stroke patient and bringing them home and the help that you get?
Oh, it's a lot different. That's drastically different.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you think you're taking care of her, and that's definitely what I thought. Man, I'm doing everything I can. No, you're not. The nurses are taking care of so much.
Right.
Um, just for instance, her first few weeks back, I had to administer, IV antibiotics at home. And again, not a nurse. So, that was just that in particular was drastically different. But, the fact that you have to take sole responsibility for whether this person is going to fall. Uh, she was a tremendous fall risk in the hospital, and now it's just me. You know, um, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. So definitely something that I had to work my way around and kind of get past, I guess. Yes, I can handle this. I almost had to convince myself, yes, you can handle this. You can do it. It's just a matter of convincing yourself that you can do it. But vastly different than what we were experiencing in the hospital, because now it's the sole responsibility of the caregivers. Because again, I'm not doing this alone, but to administer the medication and make sure that she's safe and she's secure and all that. So um, tough deal, especially at the beginning.
I can only imagine how it was for you, because I know my ex-wife was going crazy. She wouldn't get dressed, she wouldn't take care of herself, pamper herself or anything like that. And I'm very curious how you actually dealt with that. So I know you said you didn't do it, but would you recommend a therapist for yourself or for someone that's actually a caregiver?
Yeah, I would say that might help. I really would. I really would. And again, I'm not the first person to ask for help, so that's a horrible trait. I think in a position like this, all of us probably, on both sides, could use somebody to talk to. So, again, I'm fortunate in that I have Kayla to still talk to and communicate with, and we can still do that. So we're kind of our own therapists, I guess, in that respect. But
Hey,
which
you guys
is
have a
really
bond,
nice.
and you
Yep.
guys know when each other is slipping. I get that. Since you guys have that love with each other, that actually makes it better for you guys to move forward. And
Yeah.
if you like, a lot of people I've been talking to are caregivers for children or caregiver parents. This is very interesting for dealing with a spouse or a girlfriend, and you have to care for them, and you actually truly love them, and you can actually do that. And man, you really don't know how rare that is. That is very commendable. Man. I really, really appreciate you so much. You don't understand how much I appreciate you. But we're getting close to our time, so let me ask you, what do you want to leave with our audience? Closing words.
Um, I think really the best thing to remember for both sides, caregiver or survivor, you just can't give up. I mean, that's probably the best advice I would give anyone. Um, it's a lot of tough road ahead, especially from the time it occurs. We're 9 months in, give or take, at this point. Um, but there's still a lot of road ahead of us. So, one thing that I find myself telling her, and I think she probably tells herself, is, don't give up. we can't give up. We've got to continue to even find the littlest improvement has to be celebrated.
Yes.
It's very important. So, even the little things, sometimes you reach that peak and this is as far as we can go. No, we can push ourselves a little bit further. We can't give up in the rehabilitation process or the recovery. That's probably the most important thing I would say. If the caregiver is giving up or if the survivor is giving up, then it's not necessarily a lost cause, but the amount of recovery is diminished. So I would definitely leave that as a bit of advice.
I got one more question for you because you brought that up.
Sure.
You said you guys, I guess, celebrate those little goals, those little achievements.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things that you guys do? Do you guys pat each other on the back, give each other high fives or something? How did that go? I'm curious because this is really interesting.
No, we're a very affectionate couple as a general rule anyway.
Okay,
So,
that's enough.
yeah,
You said enough.
yeah, so lots of kisses on the forehead or kisses on the cheek or kisses, just hugs. I will still hug anytime she's standing up. I'll just make her raise that left arm and but that also it's a twofold thing because it'll make her lift that left arm too. So it's kind of works in multiple ways. But yeah, we celebrate by showing affection. I think that's the best thing to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Chris, I thank you for your time. I thank you for sharing your story with us. I really appreciate you. Hopefully you win this caregiver basket and good luck with you guys. I'm really rooting for you guys and you guys really make me believe in love again. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem.
All right, have a
Thanks
good
for
night,
having me. I
man.
appreciate it. You
All
too.
right, man.